Anthony Fantano of Needle Drop fame, who we kind of wrecked to a lot on here. He had a little segment, little clip over here talking about, a little recent drama, controversy, as you say, between Gracie Abrams and kind of fans, and just kind of fan privilege and overstepping boundaries. So let's kind of just hop right into that one and see what he had to say about all of that.
Sounds and vibes. Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. Today we are talking about one of the most bizarre stories to come out of the music world this week. And while on the surface it may seem like a really weird, silly, isolated incident, I do think the topic of today's video is indicative of a larger trend right now in terms of music fans just being like really entitled right now and siloed off into their own respective musical bubbles in such a way to where they only feel comfortable a lot of the time.
I mean, this has definitely been a topic that has come up a lot from a lot of artists that they've kind of been pushing back against. I mean, you heard Chaperone being very vocal, Sabrina Carpenter, other artists like that being very vocal about fan bases and them feeling very entitled to an artist and kind of demanding how they do things in a certain way. That kind of comes with the commercialization and mainstreamification, so to say, of music and how much more widespread it is today than any other time and space. Like, people have much more of an access to music and to these artists directly, whether it's through social media, whether it's through videos, whether it's through whatever. They have a forum and a way to kind of voice their opinions in ways that they never could before. And because of the virality of things can take on a whole nother life. So like, there's been a lot of pressure on artists and musicians in particular about, things that they do, things that they say, how they present themselves, being in the public eye like that on a stage where anybody and everybody can voice an opinion and have that go viral and then have people kind of bandwagon on top of that. So it's been a very interesting conversation about fans and their entitlement and like how entitled are artists to their fans? Like, how much should they cater to their fans? Because yes, fans are important. Yes, they provide a lot of help and support and get artists as big as they are to to the stages that they are. But at what point is it like crossing the line? So that seems to be kind of where he's going on here.
Listening to songs and artists and sounds and vibes they're already familiar with. Case in point, singer-songwriter Gracie Abrams. I personally may have my own reasons for not really being a big fan of her music, but you know what? She has put a lot of work into the record she has dropped up until this point. She has a fan base who loves what she does. And of course, as a result of that, she is more than entitled to get out there into the world, perform, do a whole tour, which she is about to embark on behind her latest full-length LP. And as the leader for a headline tour, you usually take it upon yourself to hand pick your openers for the bill. For a big tour such as this, that can be a pretty cool thing. Can help put on lesser known artists and expose them to an audience of people who might not have known about them before. I'm sure in a way Gracie is almost paying it forward in this way, because I think there are a lot of music fans out there who might not have necessarily heard about her if it weren't for the fact that, she had spent so many dates opening up for the great famous Taylor Swift. So for said live performances, Gracie seems to have gone with New York indie bedroom pop singing songwriting personality Dora. Someone whose work I'm not necessarily super familiar with myself, but that's kind of irrelevant for this context because there's absolutely nothing musically that she could be doing that would warrant this commentary that you see here on your screen.
I mean, as you said, like opening acts and tours and, just opportunities to smaller artists has been such a crucial and integral part of artists' kind of trajectory and careers that it's so ingrained that it's hard to imagine like how this could be an issue, because the whole point of putting on an artist as an opener is to put on artists that you like, that you think other people will like, especially in your audience, and that you hope to kind of like give a little push to, like use your own audience, use your own fame to help elevate their career because you like them. Like that has been pretty much an unspoken, unforeseen like aspect of touring in music and just the industry in general. Like, you go on tour, you get big, you go on tour, you find somebody that you like that is smaller, and you help them by letting them be the opener for you and hopefully introducing them to a new audience. And like, as an audience member, for me personally, I like discovering new music. So like, going early to shows is also dope because you get to see new artists and new music that you might not have heard of or been exposed to in any other way. But because you like this person, they also seem to like this person, there could be some crossover there. And I think that's a cool aspect. So to see this kind of be a controversy is kind of crazy
right now, because apparently there are at least some Gracie Abrams fans that are not really happy with the Dora jar pick. And so as a result, we have a change.org petition to lobby for Gracie changing the opener to the show to somebody else. And they stated their reasoning in this petition as well. Many fans, including myself, are baffled by the recent announcement that Dora Jar will be the opening act for the Secret of Us Tour's Europe shows. We are perplexed as we do not recognize her. And with less than 2 weeks till the tour, it's virtually impossible to familiarize ourselves with her slow-paced songs. Oh my God. The logic is so stupid. It's so baby-brained. It's so dumb. Like, I love that the prime issue and problem cited with this is that you're just not familiar with her. Like, I'm sorry, is every musical experience you're supposed to have from now to the rest of your life and every concert that you ever see supposed to be an artist that you're 100% familiar with already? On top of it, as popular and as successful and as famous as Gracie Abrams is right now, she's like still not a top tier artist in terms of her fan base and her, chart positions and her overall popularity. And I mean, openers are usually, like, comparatively speaking, smaller artists than the headliner for the show. Are you expecting Gracie Abrams to get somebody opening up for her who is like on a similar level of popularity and familiarity, or somebody who's more popular than her? That's not how bills fucking work. I mean, right now, Gracie is like at the mid tier of mainstream singing songwriting popularity. So of course she's going to pick somebody to open up for her who is not quite on that same level. So yeah, chances are it's going to be somebody who you don't know. And I just find it silly that you don't see that as maybe an opportunity to broaden your horizons, maybe, but not even that much. Because when you look at the genres that Dora Jar dabbles in, like, it's very much in the Gracie Abrams wheelhouse. There should be a lot of crossover appeal here. And
I mean, he's 1000% right. Like, to the fact that you have, that you literally started a petition online, change.org's petition out of everything, to get her opening act changed because you personally do not know or recognize this artist. Like, no fucking duh. The whole point of an opener is so that you can learn and be exposed to new music and new musicians and potentially your next favorite artist. Like, Gracie Abrams got on, as he mentioned, because she opened for Taylor Swift. I'm sure a lot of Taylor Swift people had no fucking clue who she was. A lot of your favorite artists today got on by opening for other artists. Kendrick Lamar even opened for Drake early on in his career. Like, people get put on all the time through touring and through concerts. And I've never once heard somebody complain about an opener. Yeah, maybe they might have not enjoyed that opener once they heard them or saw them or exposed to them. That's in your prerogative. But to complain before they even opened or before they even performed is insanity. And the fact that you went all of your way to go out of your way to create an online petition for it is sad. I mean, it's sad and it's pretty lame, to be quite honest. Like, it's not even, like you said, they are performing in the exact same pretty much genre. It's not like it's a hip hop band opening for a rock band or punk band, which happened a lot back in the 80s and 90s because obviously it was a burgeoning genre and there weren't a lot of outlets for these people to get on stages like that. But because they were blowing up and because these punk bands and rock bands liked what they were doing and liked what they were hearing and potentially thought other people might as well, they gave them the opportunity. And yes, they are two very different genres in some sort of sense. And yes, it's okay to be like, this isn't really what I came here for, but it's still an opener and you can do whatever you want with an opener. It's kind of crazy. This is kind of crazy.
And like Gracie picked the support. So she's literally telling you like, hey, here's an artist doing something I personally think is cool. And you're pushing it away like a baby who refuses to eat broccoli. For a memorable concert experience, an opening act should set the mood and get the crowd excited. But Dora's slow tempo songs may not achieve this goal. Oh no, a song might be slow. Oh, the worst thing in the world. This is hilarious to me because it's not exactly like Gracie Abrams writes like really fast-paced, fist-pumping, like, you know, crazy over-the-top anthems. Like, what the hell do you want here? Should Gracie, tag a hardcore punk band to open up the show? I mean, some stage diving at the Gracie Abrams concert might actually be kind of fire. It's not just a personal concern. According to Billboard, upbeat opening acts are essential to the overall concert experience as they set the tone for the headlining act and help in keeping the audience's energy up throughout the show. Billboard 2019. I like how we're throwing in like a reference here, like, you know, Billboard is some like sort of scientific concert authority. This really should be like an MLA format footnote on the last page, if anything. Keeping this in consideration, it seems only fair that a more well-known energetic artist or band could replace Dora Jar as the opening act. How about just allowing Dora Jar to open up the Gracie Abrams shows for the sake of art? What if, artistically speaking, Gracie just thinks Dora Jar makes cool songs? What if Gracie, in fact, likes the contrast in overall vibes and energies between her and Dora Jar's music for the concerts? It finishes off with, please show your support for a more enjoyable concert experience by signing this petition for the replacement of Dora Jar as the opening act for the Secret of Us tour.
Again, it's very stupid. It's just a very, very stupid, entitled, petty, lame thing to do as a fan of an artist, to tell that artist you should have better taste in music. Basically, like, we know your sets, we know your tour, we know your kind of settings more than you. Not to mention that, you know, a lot of artists have live versions of their songs that they might change and alter in a way to be more crowd pleasing. Like, that is also a very essential part of playing live. Aside from that, the fact that this is even being signed and even being put out there is, I mean, as an artist, that shit would be annoying. Like, I wouldn't even want you to come to my show or come to my tour because you're not a supporter. Like, you just want us to sing and dance for your pleasure. Like, you're not a supporter of the art of artistry. And I'm sure you're probably one of those same people saying like, oh, there's no more good music out there. Everything's the same. Like, it's so hard to find good, new, cool shit. Wow, like, good, new, cool shit is possibly being put right in front of your face before you see the artist that you already enjoy. So it's just stupid. This whole thing is just stupid.
Again, grossness, again, entitlement, again, self-centeredness, and again, trying to justify it by making it seem like there's some kind of like greater body of study proving that your shitty opinion is right. When in reality, all this truly is that this person has a preference, and you know what? That's all right. You don't have to like Dora Jar's music, and truth be told, you will be fine. You will be totally okay sitting through an opener that you think is just all right to catch an appearance, a performance from an artist that you genuinely enjoy. I'm okay. I've been to countless shows over the course of my lifetime, and you think I've loved every fucking opener to see the artist I was actually there for? No. Sometimes, and get this, I've actually enjoyed the opener more than the headlining artist. But yeah, it's
that has happened. That has definitely happened many, many times where you go not even knowing like who's there or he's even listed on the bill, but like going there early and being surprised, being blown away, and actually actively wanting to go out and find more of their music. That is also a possibility.
It's sad how much streaming services and the internet have allowed people's taste to be catered to the point where like they feel like listening to anything that they are unfamiliar with is like beneath them. It's like a pain. It's a torture they shouldn't be subjected to. Now, I will end this video off by saying, a bit of a silver lining to this cloud is that Dora Jar has reacted to this, and she seems to have, kind of taken these comments in stride and is being, a bit funny about it and wearing it as a badge of honor. And also, thankfully, Gracie Abrams, to her credit, too, doesn't seem to be fostering this kind of attitude in her audience and has spoken out about how just ridiculous and stupid this petition is. And she's very much standing by Dora Jar for the openings of the.
Just hearing about this absolute ridiculous, so wildly uncool and bizarre, and also just does not remotely add up. I've only seen everyone's total excitement. I couldn't be luckier, prouder to share a stage with this talented wonder, stream everything she's ever made, whether or not you're coming to the show, Dora, forever and ever. I mean, that's the correct response. The only response that you should have as an artist is support other artists, especially one that you are inviting to be on your tour. But again, this is just idiotic, and we're living in a very weird time where, like, you have access to more music, more sounds, more styles, more diversity than ever before, but it feels more gated, more walled off, more like bubbled in terms of like what people listen to than ever. It's very weird. It's very weird.
Shows. So again, I don't mean to paint this specifically as a young person thing or a Gracie Abrams fan thing. Really just a word of warning that I feel like we should all be conscious of the fact that I feel like the internet and music streaming platforms right now are really poisoning the well in terms of like people's music tastes and the lack of overall variety that we're being exposed to on a regular basis. And frankly, how much bland, lifeless, uninspired, algorithmically aggrandized bullshit that we're being exposed to on any given day. Honestly, all sorts of popular music, regardless of whether or not I like it, has a time and a place and an audience. I'm not saying it's wrong to enjoy listening to or being a fan of any one thing. However, I do feel like it is upon us as music listeners and fans and consumers to make sure that our palates and our listening diets are broad and are adventurous, so that, again, we don't end up baby-brained and afraid that we'll have to sit through an opening set from an indie bedroom singer-songwriter whose songs might just be a little subtle, a little low-key, a little slower than average. Lots of amazing bands and artists and songs have operated in that mode, and it's not something I think we should try to write a petition up to prevent ourselves from having to experience. Because who knows, if you pull your head out of your ass and keep an open mind, you might actually to enjoy it. But yeah.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely spot on in terms of like being ridiculously catered to when it comes to music and playlists and just the algorithm in general. Like, as amazing as the internet has been, as amazing as streaming has been, it's basically all kind of went to shit because of algorithms and because of, if you heard this one thing and you like this one thing, here's 1,000 other songs like that. And because one song pops and becomes viral, now you're getting a lot of artists and a lot of labels pushing exactly that type of sound and exactly that type of mode because they think that is what the algorithm wants. So like now a lot of music especially from pop mainstream is coming from like algorithm chasing versus just making good music. And people are just falling in line and like, again, not wanting to branch out into possibly new things that aren't force fed to you through a playlist is okay. That is music. That's exactly how music has been discovered for hundreds, if not thousands of years to this point. And like, it is a very essential, enjoyable part of being a music fan. And that's something that I truly hope never, ever goes away. And I do think there is kind of a point among artists and musicians these days where they are starting to push back a little bit against kind of this fan entitlement. I think fan catering, doing what fans want, having, the access to fans and hearing opinions and like bringing that into your own thought process and creativity and just kind of how you perform and put out music has gone entirely too far. And I do think it's kind of starting to course correct itself for artists. Like, no, like I make music, I make art that I like, and you can get along with it or not. That's kind of up to you. And I hope that kind of continues because there needs to be a fine balance. And I think it's gone far too much one way, and I do think people are starting to push back against that. And like, just don't do this. Just don't do this. Don't start petitions because you might not like an opener or somebody on tour. Like, just don't do it. It's very simple. If you don't like an opener, you don't like a show, you don't have to go to the show, or you don't have to go see the opener. It's very simple. I miss a time when we heard less of people's opinions than we do now. I miss that time. I truly do. It's just gotten far too much, and it extends far beyond music. Like if you look at Star Wars, you look at Disney, you look at Marvel, you look at any of those kind of nerd culture things, like they have been absolutely ravaged and devastated by fan service. Doing and catering to what they think the fans want has absolutely ruined what was such a once outlier in terms of culture, and look at where we are now. I don't think we're off for the better. I don't think we're better off. But yeah, that's it for Fantano and the Gracie Abrams kind of tour controversy album, whatever. Let me know what you guys think about that. I think it was an absolutely ridiculous reaction by a fan and just opinion. But let me know what you think about all of that.